Welcome to Special Guest Thursdays on the Final Boss podcast, where legends pull up, the mic gets hot, and the community gets loud. Each week, your host Turbo the CEO goes live with game changers, thought leaders, and culture shifters. From raw interviews to the hottest trending topics, and real talk on community impact. This is where voices rise and stories ignite. So buckle up, press play, and get ready to level up with Turbo. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement.
Oh, hey guys. Hey, welcome. Let me get myself together. Oh my God. Hey. Welcome to the Final Boss podcast. It is Thursday, special guest Thursday. Guess what, people? I think for all of the rest of the season, I am going to be my own special guest on Special Guest Thursdays, because we might have some situations where I can actually, season 4 is so important to me that I'm looking at the special guests I have lined up, and I'm pushing them back to season 4, right? I'm pushing them back to season 4, and this actually works out well, right? So for all of you who are here, I think for the next couple of Thursdays, it's only what, 2 left? I think for the next 2 Thursdays, on Special Guest Thursdays, I think I'm going to be the one that's going to be hosting the show. I really do, man. I think that aligns with what I'm trying to do with I want to do with the end of season 3, right? And for some of you who are just not joining us, thank you for joining us. All right. And for those of you who aren't here, thank you again, right? We're running a little late due to technical difficulties, right? Technical difficulties at the last minute. But look, we are here. I am here, right? And this is the Final Boss podcast, people. It is, man. And I'm excited to be with you. And look, if you haven't already, go get Go Time all aboard the Fired Up train. Your motivation workbook, your motivation textbook. This right here is where information resides, right? On motivation from a disciplined perspective. Go get it where all books are currently being sold, right? Go Time, all aboard the Fired Up train. So, tonight I have a show for you, and I'm looking and thinking, I'm like, man, how can I approach tonight's show, right? And I came up with some very interesting ideas, right? So I'm gonna do something different tonight. I'm stepping outside of the box, and I'm and work with me, right? Because this particular format is different from all the other shows, right? But because we don't have a special guest on Special Guest Thursday, and it's just moi, right? Or it's just me. Yes, sir. We're going to go ahead and enjoy the show. So if you're already here, look, like, share, subscribe. Yeah, go like, share, subscribe the show, man. Let everybody know what's going on over here at the Final Boss podcast. We're building the Final Boss Nation, Final Boss family. We're all in this together. So I really appreciate you guys on as we continue on this journey. And if you haven't seen all of our episodes, go check out our episodes, man, on our website at www.thefinalbosspodcast.com. That's www, too many W's, one W minus, thefinalbosspodcast.com, right? Go check that out and check out all of our episodes, past and present, right? I know YouTube's acting up, man. Everything's acting up. Everything is acting up, and it's been acting up all day long. I don't know what's going on with these carriers or these service providers, but everything's been acting up, and it's been kind of janky all day long. But thank you. Hey, the beautiful Andrea is on board with us. You got Sanju here joining us. You got a couple other people joining us. Yes, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Yeah, exactly. But right now, we're going to get up on this fired up train and get this party started, right? So tonight's show, man, look, also like, share, like I said, like, share, subscribe. Shoot us an email at info@thefinalbosspodcast. Shoot us an email at info@thefinalbosspodcast.com. And that is our, that is the admin notes thus far, right? We get to more admin notes along with the show. But look, what if I told you, right? What if I told you something very, very peculiar, right? Very, very peculiar and interesting at the same time, man. What if the reason you don't have what you want is because you want it too much, right? Imagine that. Because tonight we're going to talk about that, right? Tonight we're flipping your entire psychology upside down, right? This is the Final Boss Podcast, and I am your host, the one and only, the Final Boss, right? Now, we're about to get real uncomfortable, so let's get into it, right? Season 3, right? Season 3, this is season 3, all right? It's continuing. We got a couple more episodes. I think we got maybe 11 episodes left, right? And tonight we're going to be doing a little deep dive into the mental game that separates chess players or chess pieces and chess masters, right? We are a family of 350,000 strong across all platforms, and we're growing every day. And tonight, man, for anyone grinding hard but feeling like your goals keep running away from you, have you ever noticed how the harder you chase something, the further it gets, right? That's not coincidence. That's psychology, right? And I just finished this book called The Reverse Psychology of Achievement, and it confirms something I learned the hard way, right? In all things, right? Business, military, combat, you name it. This is something I learned, right? Because desperation is poison. Peace is power. Now, let me break that down for you, right? Let me break it down for you. And tonight's brass tacks isn't a worthy, lengthy one. It's really short, man. It's probably the shortest brass tacks we've had in some time. So here it is, right? And it's profound. It is profound. So here it is. Open hands get filled, closed fist stay empty, right? And that is so short. I could read it again. I could read it a few more times, right? Open hands get filled, closed fist stay empty. Now, y'all remember that, right? Because I need you to listen up because this matters. Let me paint a picture for you, all right? Have you ever been on a job interview where you desperately needed that job, right? Bills are stacking up, rent due, you're back against the wall. How did that interview go? Think about it, right? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about that, right? Think about that, right? Now think about an interview where you already had a good job. You were just exploring options. You walk in relaxed, confident, not really caring if you got it or not. Which interview went better, right? Which one went better? I'll wait. Of course, the second one went better, right? The second one, every single time. And here's what's wild about that. The same you, same skills, same resume, different energy, right? The only thing that changed was how bad you needed it, right? And that, my friends, that need, that's what killed your chances, right? This is the desire paradox. The universe or your brain or reality, whatever you want to call it, responds to your energy, not your words, right? When your desperation or when you're desperate, you broadcast it in 1,000 invisible ways. Your voice goes up, your body tenses, you talk too fast, you agree too quick, you oversell yourself, right? You oversell yourself. Employees smell it, investors feel it, potential partners sense it. But when you're at peace, when you are genuinely in a state of, I don't need this outcome, you show up different. You're calmer. You're more confident. You're more attractive, right? Same principle applies whether you're looking at a job or you building a business, or even if you're searching for love. Or guess what? Guess what else? Or if you're trying to get healthy and lose weight. Desperation repels what peace attracts, right? And so tonight we're going to be breaking that down, man, and why this happens and how to shift from one to the other, right? So let me take you down this this journey, right? Of course, I like to give a little personal story, right? A little personal story. We're always talking about my service in the military. Oh man, it's great military of ours, right? That defends this great nation, right? Let me tell you about Afghanistan, right? Because in Afghanistan, I'm watching two soldiers operate at the exact same time in the exact same way, right? But different. The first type is scared to death, right? And I spoke about this a few times, right? So use this point of reference. Scared to death, desperate to survive, right? Counting days till they go home, um, white knuckling every mission, right? And you know what happens? They freeze. They make mistakes, right? They make a lot of mistakes, right? Because fear creates tunnel vision, right? The second soldier, right, made peace with whatever the outcomes are, right? Very peaceful. They accepted the reality that they might not make it home, right? So they stop being afraid of it. And you know what happens? They move smooth. They move like water, clear headed, precise, but deadly when needed, right? The peaceful operators had a better survival rate. That's not philosophy, that's statistics, right? And the same thing went on at the Pentagon, right? There were the ones who stayed calm, who made decisions and moved with purpose. And those were the ones who saved lives. And here's what I learned from all of it, right? All of it. And I've talked about this before, but we're going to get a little bit more in depth tonight, right? Fear makes you stupid. Peace makes you sharp. And here's the connection to your life, right? Every boardroom negotiation, every tough conversation, every major decision you make operates on the same principle. Stay right there. Don't you go nowhere. We just get started. Sit down. No bathroom break. No hallway pass, right? Stay with us, right? When you're desperate for a specific outcome, you make bad calls. When you're at peace with whatever happens, you make great calls. And this isn't about giving up. This is about mm, fighting from peace instead of fear. And there's a huge difference in that, right? So let me tell you about um let me tell you about um when you're hustling hard, right? You when you're hustling hard, you're fighting for an outcome. right? You're making all these calls, you're sending out all types of business proposals, you're following up constantly, and nothing happens. Nothing is sticking, right? You want to know why? Because you were desperate, right? You were desperate, or I was desperate. Let's say me, right? There was a time when I was going through that, right? When I was starting Sat Diginet or any other business. Oh my gosh, right? Especially with our training entertainment, man. I could not get a phone call answered, right? At that time, my energy was screaming, I need this to happen, right? I need this to survive. And nobody was listening. Nobody was feeling it, right? People ghosted me. People was not interested in the business and so forth and so on, man. No good positive feedback, right? And then there was a point where something shifted. It was a point where I stopped chasing. I didn't stop working on the mission. I actually worked harder on the mission, but I stopped chasing the outcomes. I resided in the fact that it may or may not happen, right? And I focused on building real capabilities, right? I developed solid intellectual properties, right? I created real value, genuine value, right? And I made peace with building slower if I needed to. I accepted that I accepted that the fact that maybe I need to keep doing what I was doing, right? Maybe it wasn't time for me to leave uh my federal position, right? I released um I released my death grip, right? Right. And and things start to happen. Things start to happen. And you know what? Business started coming in, right? Decisions were clearer. People started reaching out, right? The outcomes changed. And you know why? Because I wasn't negotiating from desperation anymore. I was negotiating from strength, right? Same objectives, different outcomes, right? Just like same me, different energy. And that's when I understood this one fact. The market doesn't just respond to your product, it responds to your frequency. If you're broadcasting scarcity, that's what you attract. If you're broadcasting abundance, everything changes, right? Everything changes. This applies whether you're running a multi-million dollar company or you're selling on eBay or Etsy or any of those other platforms or Facebook Marketplace, right? The principle is identical, right? Now, quick science lesson, right? You know, I love science, right? Quick science lessons, right? And I'm not going too deep about this, right? It's not too deep. We did enough deep talk last night. My God, I still feel the remnants of that, man. Let me tell you, last night was rough. When you are in a state, right? When you desperately want something, your brain goes into survival mode. Stress hormones spike. Your thinking narrows. You literally see fewer options, right? It's like diving with tunnel vision, right? You're focused on one thing and missing everything else. And when you're at peace, when you're at peace, your brain opens up. You think clearer. You see more possibilities. You make better decisions, right? Think of it like this, right? Think about it like this. How many people play checkers or Monopoly or chess, right? Raise your hand, right? Let me know in the chat, man. Let me know in the chat. Let's get some interaction with you guys. You guys are too quiet tonight. Look, hey, it's funny, Steve-O, man. I see you, bro. Let me get some interaction. Drop some emojis in the chat, right? If you play chess, checkers, or Monopoly, any of those fun games, man, let us know in the chat, right? But here's the thing about those games. You can only see one or two moves ahead, right? Peace for you is playing chess, playing checkers, playing Monopoly. but you see the whole board, right? As they say, the watched pot never boils, right? That's not just the same. When you're obsessively focused on something with desperate energy, you create stress that actually blocks the thing from happening. But when you sit at it and forget it, when you put the pot on and go do something else, the water boils. But when you constantly watching it, you're like, why this damn water ain't trying to boil? I'm trying to tell you, man, this is what's happening, right? Your goals work the same way. Set them, work toward them, let them breathe. Stop strangling them with the vice grips. Stop strangling them with your fist, right? Stop doing that, right? And you have to stop checking. You have to stop checking. That's desperate energy, right? That's the simple version that you don't need me having my PhD to understand it, right? But you just need to recognize it in your own life. Now, the paradox shows up loud in relationships. Hear me out. Don't you go nowhere. Hear me out. You know that person who's desperately single, swiping every night, going on dates every weekend, constantly talking about finding someone. And those people never find anyone good. And look, don't come for me, bro. This is science. Ladies, dudes, don't come for me, bro. Listen, don't come for me. I'm the Black John Wick. Don't come for me. But listen. You hear that? You hear that silence? They never find anybody. And you know why? Because desperate energy is repulsive, right? Desperate energy is repulsive. Now think about that friend who was happily single. I know some of y'all, yeah, living their best life. I'm looking at one right now, right? Pursuing their passions completely content and alone, right? And then suddenly they meet someone amazing and fall in love every single time, right? And you're like, wait a minute, how this happen? And you're looking like, where this fool come from? And that fool been knocking on your door. Next thing you know, he's knocking on them boots. But here's the truth. I'm in a great mood tonight, man. Listen, here's the truth. Needlessness kills attraction, right? Biologically, evolutionarily, psychologically, right? We're wired to avoid needy people. Someone who needs you to complete them signals instability. Someone who chooses you from a place of already being whole, that's attractive, right? I see this all the time, right? Going up and down the timeline, I see it, man. You know, and I don't only see it, you see it too, right? You see it too. Right? Same thing, man. Same thing, right? The need is the I need you piece is weak energy. I choose you piece is powerful, right? Work on yourself first, get whole, build your life, then invite someone to join an already complete journey, right? Tell them to come on along and have some fun in this party, right? Get on the fired up train, right? Where the engines be sparking. The engine is on fire, right? That's final boss energy, right? Don't look for someone to complete you. Be complete. Then find someone who complements you, right? Now, enough of that. Let's get tactical, right? Because how do you actually shift from desperation to peace? And here's some daily practices, right? Here's practice number 1, right? This is your daily gratitude rewiring. Every morning, take 5 minutes, list everything you already have that you once and everything that you have that you once desperately wanted, right? Whether there's a roof over your head, that you once there was a time you didn't have it, right? Think about that. There's a car that you there was a time that you needed it and didn't have it, right? And then the same thing with your job, right? When you applied for it. Think about all those situations, right? And then this is what's going to rewire your brain to see yourself as someone who gets what they want, just on different timelines than you expected, right? Most people wake up thinking about what they don't have. It's time to change that energy, right? Because that puts you in scarcity mode all day, right? Instead, start with what you do have, right? Think about that. That puts you in abundance mode, right? Try it for a week. Watch what happens. But you got to be, man, listen, you have to be religious with this stuff. Have to be religious. That's the only way it's going to work, right? Try it for a week. Watch what happens to your energy. Same practice, massive shift, right? Now, practice number 2, make peace with the worst case scenario, right? Because here's what most people never do, right? You want to know? I know you want to know. Of course you want to know. Most people never actually face their worst fear. They just let it hunt them in the ground. So do this instead, right? Write down the absolute worst case scenario of your current situation. I mean, really write it out. If your business fails, if you don't get the promotion, if the relationship ends, whatever it is, man, what you might be going, you might end up homeless or something. God forbid, but write it all down. You have to objectively face this fear, right? And then ask yourself, can I survive this? Sit back and think about, can I survive this? Right? Right? Will I be okay? Right? What's going to happen next? Right? Don't answer that yet, right? Answer with this. The answer is almost always yes. You're going to be fine, right? Once you generally make peace with the worst case, you're free, right? You're free. You're free, baby. You're free like me, right? You're free because you're not afraid of it anymore. And when you're not afraid of it, you stop making desperate decisions trying to avoid it, right? I did this before I was leaving the government, right? The federal government, right? Federal government employee, right? Worst case, I failed at entrepreneurship, right? But I knew that wasn't going to happen because I had several businesses that were decent, right? I didn't think about finding another job. That wasn't an option for me, right? All I knew was I would survive. And I did, right? I asked myself, could I handle the outcomes? I said, yes, I can. And it happened, right? The moment I made peace with the worst case, I started making better business decisions, right? I became more focused, right? Because I wasn't operating from fear anymore, right? Now you go try it, right? Face your worst case scenario. Go look in the mirror, write it down, make peace with it, and watch it frees you, right? And you're going to feel better for it. I'm telling you, man, you're going to feel better for it. Somebody should be, man, listen, y'all need my Cash App or my bank account information, man, because somebody's going to be making a lot of money, some mucciolini, right? Off of this information right here, right? And practice number 3, approach the opposite, right? Approach the opposite head on. This one's advanced, but it's still powerful, right? Don't just release your attachment to what you want. Actually learn to appreciate the opposite, right? You want wealth? Spend time appreciating simplicity, right? Learn from people living with less. Find the freedom in not being owned by possessions, right? You want a relationship? a long-lasting, loving relationship where you're able to pour into someone and someone is able to pour into you, right? You want that. And you want it authentic. And you want it to be genuine, right? I know authentic and genuine same. Look, it sounds good, right? Get good at being alone. Love your solitude. Build a full life as a single person, right? You want recognition? Appreciate privacy. Study people who walked away from fame. Enjoy moving through the world without pressure. Look, this isn't fake, people. This is real. This isn't pretending. This is genuinely expanding your consciousness to see value in multiple states of being, right? When I stopped needing and looking at uh, my government position as a need for security, and I started genuinely loving the freedom that I was about to obtain, that's when I was able to do a lot of different stuff, right? And I wasn't running, right, from something. I was running towards something else, right? The energy shift, everything changed, right? Now, let me let me save you guys some time, right? I was talking to my baby brother the other day. I was trying to school him, man. I'm the big bro, you know. And like I tell him all the time, and I'm like, man, if I've been there and done that, you don't have to experience the bad parts, right? Let me save you some time by calling out the mistakes I made and the mistakes I see others make, so you won't make them, right? And here's the first thing. Mistake number one: confusing peace with passivity, right? Detachment doesn't mean doing nothing. It means working hard without strangling the outcome, right? Release the vice grip, right? I've seen people use the quote, the universe will provide, as an excuse to be lazy. Nah, we're not talking about that. The universe rewards those who shows up, right? And I was last night was very peculiar. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I usually, like most people, I sleep with the TV on. So there was a movie on. And I've seen it a few times, right? But it was at this particular moment in this movie. It was The Life of Pi, right? And in it, the little dude, he's on a boat, he's in the middle of the ocean, the ship had just sunk, and he he's fighting through the turbulence of the ocean. He has a Bengal tiger that's on the ship that's trying to eat him, and the universe is throwing all this stuff at him, but the universe provides, right? When he was hungry, it provided. When he needed land and shelter, it provided. When he needed uh um to teach the Bengal cat, who was the master, he was able to train it. The universe provides. So I had that kept whispering to me all day long, right? It kept whispering to me from the time that I saw it. It was just the universe provides. So I was like, tonight, man, this is what we're going to talk about. And here we are, right? And here's number two. Here's number two mistake, right? Faking it, right? You can't fake peace while being internally desperate. The energy bleeds through. People feel it. You have to do the actual internal work. And mistake number three is giving up too soon, right? People try this for at least a week or two, and then they don't see no results. And then you know what? They go back to desperation, right? This is a fundamental shift. It takes time. You have to be patient. And mistake number four, right? Make it um um mistake number four. You can't use it to avoid hard truths, right? Some people use acceptance as an excuse to stay in bad situations. That's not peace, right? That's fear, my friends, right? Real peace comes after you face hard truths and make necessary changes, right? And here's the key: keep working, keep building, keep pursuing. Just do it from peace instead of panic, from abundance instead of scarcity, right? Keep going, right? Athletes call it being in the zone, right? You stop thinking about the score and you just play the game. That's when you perform best. Musicians call it being in the pocket, right? You stop worrying about hitting every note and you just feel the music. That's when the magic happens. Even in combat, we call it being smooth, right? Moving with calm precision instead of frantic scrambling, right? It's all the same thing. Peak performance from peaceful presence, right? The moment you desperately try too hard, you destroy you destroy um you destroy that energy, right? You destroy that energy, right? Think about it, right? But when you prepare well and then surrender to the moment, that's when excellence happens, right? I see this in podcasts, right? I see it where episodes I'm desperately trying to perform come out mediocre. And then episodes when I just show up and let it flow, those are the ones that hit like 1 million+ views, right? Stop forcing it. Create conditions for excellence, then get out of your own way, right? Now, let me give you some concrete examples, right? Let me give you some to guys some concrete examples, right? Let's talk about job search, right? There's a brother, he's a warrior, right? And he's unemployed, right? He's been unemployed for about 8 months and he's desperate. Finally, he got to a point he was like, screw it, F it. I'm going to use this time to build skills and enjoy my life, right? And guess what? He got offered 3 jobs in 1 month. Same resume, different energy, right? Let's talk about business growth, right? There's a sister, no name, right? She's part of the smarts. She was chasing clients constantly, right? She got burned out. She stopped chasing, focused on creating valuable content. Clients started reaching out to her. Same services, different approach, right? And then there's this cat I know, man. He's part of the motivators, right? He's a fitness person, right? He was obsessed with trying to get this level of fitness that he had when he was in his early 20s, right? He used to brag about it all the time, right? And he was obsessed that he needed and was trying to lose 50 pounds, right? He weighed himself 3-4 times a day, right? Stressed out constantly. He never lost any weight. Then he shifted. He shifted to, I'm going to enjoy getting strong without obsessing over the scale. And that fool lost 60 pounds in 9 months, right? Let me tell you, same goals, different energy, different results. This isn't theory. This is real people in our community living in this paradox, right? Now, for those of you who are new with us, this is season 3. We're going deeper, right? Season 1 was about waking up. Season 2 was about building foundations. Season 3 was about mastering the mental, right? Season 4 is on its way. That's the rebirth, right? This desire paradox is fundamental to everything else we're covering, right? Consciousness, strategy, sovereignty, and things that you can't master with your relationship, right? With desire. You can't master anything else, right? You feel that. You feel it. The next few episodes, right, in season 3, we're going to be diving into something that I like to call what is starting to trend. It's starting to trend, right? It's called imposter syndrome, right? A lot of people are talking about imposter syndrome, right? Decision fatigue, and the confidence paradox, right? All of it builds on that foundation. Your internal state determines your external results, right? You need to master your mind. You need to master your mind, master your life. And that's the mission for the rest of this season, right? Now, quick question for the community. For my final bosses, to my warriors, to my motivators, to my smarts, right? Listen, I don't make this stuff up, right? I don't make this stuff up. I know what you want to know. Doesn't that, what you're speaking of, make me seem like I'm less ambitious? No, it does not make you feel, you shouldn't feel less ambitious because of this, right? If anything, you should feel more ambitious, right? You should feel more ambitious. Watch when you start to put this in practice, right? You're going to go from an energy of how you was feeling when you were desperate to a place where you're ambitious because of abundance instead of scarcity, right? I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a big difference in your life, right? Then you have to ask, what if I'm in a genuinely desperate situation? And look, man, that's fair. I get it. I get it. If you're about to be homeless, you need to take care of survival first, right? But even then, panic won't help you. Calm problem solving will, right? And then ask yourself this: how long did it take you to shift? And be honest. Years to really internalize it, right? How long did it take you to do the shift, right? I saw small shifts within weeks of changing certain practices, and it's progressive, right? It's compound, right? Then ask yourself, does this work for your health goals? Of course, that's an easy one, right? It works 100%. Obsessing over weight loss blocks weight loss. Enjoying getting healthy creates natural results. Same paradox, right? Keep the questions coming on the socials. I'm going to read them and we're going to answer them together, right? We're going to answer them together. Now, right? Here's how this fits into the final boss framework, right? Because chess pieces are controlled by external circumstances. They desperately react to what's happening around them. They're slaves to their desires. Chess masters control the internal state regardless of external circumstances. They pursue goals from peace, not desperation. They're free, right? That's the desire paradox. It's the shift from peace to master. When you need validation from your goals, you're a peace. When you pursue goals as expression of who you already are, you become a master, right? I journey from the Pentagon to combat veteran to federal service to entrepreneur and every other level in between. Every level up required releasing my death grip and vice grips on outcomes and learning to operate from peace, right? I'm working towards something incredible that I never thought I would be going after, right? I never thought in a million years that I would be pursuing my doctorates, right? I never believed in a million years that I will be soon. I'll be a semester away from graduating with my master's, right? That status is because of the abundance factor, right? Not because I needed to do any of it, right? Not because I needed to do any of it. Not because I needed to be worthy. I was already worthy, right? I'm old. Would you need that, Jerry? You don't need that. Listen, I'm pursuing these things because it aligns with my mission. I'm excited to see where it all leads, right? See the difference? You, my friends, yeah, you. It's almost, look, listen, put your hand down. No bathroom break, no hallway pass. Sit down, put your hand down, no questions, right? See the difference. I need you to see the difference. I need you to feel the difference, right? You, my friends, are already complete. Final bosses, motivators, smarts, and words, you're already complete. Your goals are just GPS coordinates, not definitions of your worth, right? Now, final boss nation, listen. Here's your challenge for this week, right? Pick one area where you're living in a desperate space, right? Just one. It can be job, money, relationship, health, whatever, right? Then do these three things. In the morning, you have gratitude for what you already have, right? Write it out. Make peace. Write it out, right? Write it out. Number two, write out and make peace with the worst case scenario, right? Write it out, right? And number three, genuinely appreciate the opposite of what you want, right? Write it out. Track your energy shift and watch how opportunities change. I'm not promising overnight miracles. I'm promising that if you shift from desperation to peace, your reality will shift too, right? Remember, open hands get filled, closed fists stay empty, right? And look, to my beautiful daughter, if you catch this or happen to watch this, it, even if it's years from now, right? Know this. I do this in part of our legacy, right? The legacy I'm building for you, right? Not just wealth, but wisdom, not just money, but mental mastery, right? And to my Finder Boss community, Finder Boss Nation, Finder Boss family, all 350,000 plus one of you, right? Strong and growing. You're not becoming Finder Bosses, you're remembering you already are, right? And to my smarts, my warriors, and my motivators, keep doing the work, keep elevating, keep transforming from pieces to masters. We've got less than we got about 10 shows to go. We got 10 shows to go, right? That's about 2 weeks, right? Maybe a little bit longer. About 2 weeks. Be here on Mondays at 9 p.m. for Motivation Mondays. Be here on Tuesdays for Tech Tuesdays with the Sensei, right? Be here on Wednesdays for Merger, right? The doctoral level consciousness. And listen, for all of you who was in that session last night as the professor, final boss, was going over the latest class agenda and lesson plan for the month. Thank you for staying. That was grueling. It was an hour and a half of pure doctoral level teaching. So thank you for staying, right? And to my future special guests. Yeah, you. Yeah, you too. Yeah, all of you, right? All of you, right? Join us every Thursday for Special Guest Thursday, right? Just not tonight, right? Because tonight you're the special guest. This show is about you, right? And then join us on Sunday for Sitting Down Sundays, right? Where that's my time to be able to do real talk. No filter, right? And next week, we're going to be talking about probably, I'm going to throw something out there, but I think I want to dive into the topic of imposter syndrome paradox, right? I want to talk about that, right? If this resonates in your spine, share it with 3 people. Share it with 3 people, right? Go out there and share it, man. Get the information out there. Let the people in the world know that you're part of the Final Boss community. You're part of the Final Boss Nation. You're part of the smarts, the warriors, the motivators, the Final Boss. You're all part of it, right? You're all part of it, man. Let the people know. Say, hey, man, I have this great podcast that we're a part of, and we're pushing positivity energy. Pushing positive. Yeah, we're pushing positive energy on the show. And look, it's all authentic. I make mistakes all the time, man. Sometimes, people make mistakes with pronouncing people's names wrong. Some words are extremely difficult, but you try your best. And trying is better than not trying, right? Some of these PhD level words I'm just stopped with. Like, even when funny stories, even when I'm doing the research and I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the word, I go to Google and I have Google pronounce the word out and break it down. And then I say, look, say it in a sentence, right? Then use it as an adjective, right? And then what's the place of origin of the word, right? And so forth and so on, man. Look, it's all fun and games, man, because it's authentic. That's what matters, right? It's not necessarily about, a lot of these shows, man. These guys are you can see that the stuff is edited. And once you know what to look for, you can see it. There's no edit here. This is live. This is authentic, right? Yes, flag on the play. Flag on the play. That's etymology, right? Flag on the play. Look, man, look. I thank each and every last one of you. This has been episode 190. Episode 190, Final Boss Nation. Please share, right? Please share the information, right? If you're out there grinding, share it with somebody who's grinding too, right? If you're out there chasing dust, right? Share it with someone, right? If someone's out there chasing dreams, share it with them too. Sometimes the most powerful move is the open hand. Sorry. It is an old hand, but the open hand and not a closed fist, right? And for those who are just now discovering the Final Boss podcast, look, I just went through our schedule. We're here every week, 5 times, right? We're here every week, 5 days a week, right? Make sure you like, share, subscribe on all platforms. Leave us a review, right? Final Bosses. Hashtag Final Bosses. That's it. That's it, man. Hashtag Final Bosses, right? So we can see your reviews, right? So we can see them, right? And this is these are the moments, man, that you get to enjoy and share with others and say, hey, man, look what I discovered, right? Get ahead of the pack, right? And if you're goal oriented, this is for my goal oriented people, right? Understand the difference between goal pursuit versus goal attainment, right? There's some research out there that you might find interesting, right? Because studies show people who are focused on pursuing goals experience more anxiety and less satisfaction than people who are focused on obtaining them, right? And here's the key. Here's the key. Where's my wand? Yeah, I thought I was finished. Nope, not yet. People who are satisfied before achieving goals are more likely to achieve them than people who are unsatisfied waiting for the goals, right? Now let that sink in. Satisfaction attracts achievement. Dissatisfaction repels it, right? Think about that, right? There's a lot of irony in this stuff, man. I'm trying to tell you, right? We there's a lot of principles and theories, and look, you can't do anything until you find and discover your why, right? If you haven't gotten your copy of Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train, sold everywhere books are sold. Go pick up Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train. It's on its way to being a national bestseller. I am telling you right now, it's on its way to being a national bestseller. This is your motivation workbook. This is your motivation textbook, right? It's the first book in the series. It's a series. You're going to need all of the books to complete the Go Time principles, right? And have full understanding of what it is to be on a fired up train, right? Before we go, this last piece before we go. When you're no longer energetically repelling the alternatives to your desire, you expand instead of contract. You open instead of close. The universe has space to deliver in ways you couldn't predict. I'm no Jedi, but this is Jedi level consciousness, right? You have to do the work. You have to do the work. You're literally going to rewrite your relationship with desire itself, right? Desire itself, man. And that's our show for tonight, right? That's our show for tonight. And how much time I left? Oh, I'm early. Let me see if I can look up a cool quote real quick. Let me see if I could find a really nice quote to leave you guys with that send you well on your way. Yeah, I got 2 minutes left, right? But last night I went over 30 minutes, so I'm making up for it, right? So we ended early because we went over last night, right? Um, if I could find one, let me see. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, here's a brass tacks that I was going to use that might this brass tacks is a good one too, right? The tighter you grip, the faster it slips. The moment you open your hands, the universe fills them with everything you stopped chasing. Everything you stopped chasing. I'm going to say it one more time. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips. The moment you open your hands, the universe fills them with everything you stop chasing. This has been the Final Boss Podcast, episode number 190. To my smarts, to my warriors, to my final bosses, to my motivators, thank you everyone for being here. And if it resonates with you, let it marinate in your spine. And always remember, there's a heavy pain that comes with discipline, but the pain of regret is even heavier. I am here. We are here on the Final Boss Podcast. We're on this journey together. And look, let me give you guys some clarity, right? Let me give you guys some clarity. When I say I am here, I'm not talking about me. It's not me. I am not I am. You know who I am is. I am is everywhere. He's the all powerful. He's the grand creator, the grand architect. I'm his architect of insight. And when I say I am here, because he is here, he is here, right? Give you guys that clarity. So when I say I am here, that's giving praise to the who I am. And you know who I am is. I'm not I am. When I say we are here, I am part of the we because we are here, right? But I am is everywhere. Just give you guys that piece right there and let that marinate with you, right? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to each and every last single one of you. Thank you for being here, man. This is episode number 190. I wish you guys a happy rest of your week. I will see you again on Sunday for Sitting Down Sundays with the Final Boss. Be smart. Oh, oops. Sorry. Erase that. Be balanced. Be smart. Be equal. This has been the Final Boss Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night. Good night. See you soon.